Good evening.
Good evening.
So we watched Smith and Jones last night, and a good time was had by all. And before I say the things I'm about to say about Smith and Jones in some detail, I think Smith and Jones is a good story. I think it's a good story. I think there's a lot to like about it. Thank you for the emojis you just sent me. I think the premise of the hospital going up in the sky on the moon is very, very funny. I like the baddie, the vampire lady, and the two androids are perfectly serviceable running around. I like the incidental characters, the doctor who gets killed, the consultant, he was asking for it, but all that's great. I think Tennant's great in it, with some worries that I'll talk about in a second. I think the introduction of Martha and her family is very, very well done. I think it feels like a fresh start for the series, which it definitely is. I mean, I think in the same way that I said that the Christmas Invasion was the end of Eccleston's first series, bizarrely, and now I think The Runaway Bride, as being a bit more standalone, does not resolve, but it just puts a little cap on Rose in a way that Rose just going, doesn't quite do. So I think it's good. Oh, and the Judoon, I love the Judoon. You could argue they're a bit too Sontaran-y, which wouldn't be a problem at this point in the series, obviously, but it will be a problem when the Sontarans come into it. I do think they're a bit similar and whatever, but they're quite serviceable characters, and we immediately clock into who they are, and Doctor Who hasn't done that sort of thing before, so I'm perfectly cool with all that. Yeah, I like Smith and Jones. I have a concern, though. And the concern comes on the back of two revelations. Here's the first revelation. I'm now watching Doctor Who in sequence that I have already watched in sequence. That is not true of anything we did before the revival, with the exception of McCoy's last couple of seasons. Well, McCoy's run. I didn't watch any of the stuff before that in this same way. So I already have a prior relationship with these stories in order. Okay, this has only just occurred to me, and this is a thing because I know how this story develops in the way that it was originally done, which is not how we started when we started doing the Whoathon a billion years ago. Second, and I've just stumbled across this revelation. I think Tennant, tell me if I'm wrong, Lib, is the first Doctor who knows he's a bit sexy. What do you think, Lib?
Pertwee! What are you on about? 3.
You reckon Pertwee thought he was a bit sexy?
Definitely 100% I do.
Well, maybe.
I didn't think he was sexy most of the time, but occasionally I did.
Pertwee?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough then.
There's something about a tall, gormless man.
Gormless?
Yeah.
Was that an insult to me as opposed to Pertwee?
Maybe.
There we go.
And I think Eccleston
Maybe Eccleston.
had a charm.
Yeah, but I think Tennant's the first Doctor who leans into it. I think
he's definitely sexy.
Well, yes, I think Tennant's sexy, and but I think he's the first Doctor that leans into being a bit sexy.
He's flirtatious in a way.
And he's flirtatious.
Totally inappropriate.
Yeah. And I think that's a problem.
I'm a married woman.
Because we know where Tennant's Doctor ends, or at least I imagine you do. And I think that in terms of the overall story of this Doctor, that's actually great. That's okay. It clicks. And actually it makes some really interesting moments when Donna arrives and re-arrives, and her integration into the TARDIS team is a joyous moment, because I think there's a moment of self-revelation within the Doctor at that point. The whole run up to his very last story, when he reveals that he's been with Queen Elizabeth I, it's a joke, but it ties into it. But I think it causes a problem with his relationship with Martha, because there's a real power imbalance in this relationship, and whether or not it's because I know
Phil Schofield.
No, it's not. Dear, please, darling, it's not. Whether it's so visible here to somebody who's watching it for the first time, or whether it's me knowing how this progresses, there's something about it just makes me feel funny in a not entirely pleasant way. Like, the Doctor, it's set up by RTD, isn't it? He kisses her in this story. He makes a point of saying it's just to save people. He winks at her when she feels the heart. he coaxes her into the TARDIS, showing off with the trick with the tie, in a way I can't think he's done before, really. And then, once he's in there, makes a point of saying, just one trip. You know, I'm not interested. And she clearly is, and the programme tells you that she is. It's quite obvious she is.
She also says that she isn't.
Oh, but she is. The look in her eye afterwards, it's quite...
Oh, she wants it, but she says she doesn't.
No, but we know she does, because we know where the story goes.
Do we?
Well, I do. And
Don't talk with William.
all right, fair. And I just think there's something about that moment at the end that just makes me feel a bit icky. And we shall see how this rewatch of this series goes and whether I still feel that way about Martha or whether it justifies it, it validates itself en route. But in amongst a story that I genuinely feel, it's a great season opener, I really enjoy it, fantastic. There's just that niggle. And it's a new niggle for Doctor Who, but it's a niggle. Yeah. Personal story. First time I ever watched this story on broadcast, may I just say. One of Elizabeth's best mates rang, just as it had started, to tell her that she was pregnant.
Hi, Lisa.
I have never forgiven her. Ever. How dare she? You're pregnant for 9 bloody months and the episode's on for 42 minutes. Could you not wait? Anyway, there we go. Bye.